Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are memory planning week 5 in my memory planner, obviously. I am so committed to this format, you guys. It's project life for me. It is my way of documenting my week, my stories, and yes, I'm stamping dates and numbers across the top, but the photos don't necessarily match the days that they are going under. A lot of the photos do end up matching the days that they're under, but there are some days that I have more photos and some days that I have no photos, and I'm keeping it kind of fast and loose with where I position things. It would be ideal if I had a photo for every single day, but this is real life and that doesn't always happen. So I'm using the list story kit to document this week, as well as some stamps that I just got from Carrie Bradford's studio, and I am obsessed with these stamps, you guys. The downside is the printer's block stamps, which is what I use to stamp the numbers, are sold out. But as far as I know, the day that I'm recording this, the thick and thin stamps are still in the shop, so I will be sure to link those. Now, you are going to see an obnoxious amount of my head in this video, but because I'm doing such detail stamping, I do have to get in nice and close to make sure that I'm getting things centered, to make sure that I'm getting things above the line. So sorry about that, but that's the only way to film stamping, is to get up close and personal with the project that you're stamping on. So the first thing I did was I took the printer's block stamp sets that had the numbers spelled out. I love those. They're these little bricks of text and they fit the rectangles of the memory planners perfectly. So I'm working on week 5, so I stamped out 26, I want to say 26 to 2 in Ali Edwards orange ink. This is Tillamook, and I picked orange. Well, first I pulled out that number card that you see right on top of my card pile, and I was trying to figure out what color I wanted to stamp in, and I stamped in pink last week, and I think I used blue, and I thought about stamping in yellow, but I just decided to go with this orange. So I go ahead and I stamp down my 7 numbers in orange, and then I pull out my VersaFine, and VersaFine is I'm learning that VersaFine is my favorite ink for stamping detailed images. I used this last week to stamp out the days of the week. It worked out really well, so I'm using it again. And you guys, these Carrie Bradford Studios stamps are so lush. That is the only word I have for them. They are just wonderful. They don't take any priming, any sort of inking or anything. I'm going straight from the stamp package right to my page with these. And yeah, that might be a little bit brave, but they work out really well anyway. So a lot of this stamping is edited out because it took me maybe 20 minutes to get my days of the week and my number stamped across the top. But I am learning to fall in love with stamping, you guys. I always said I wasn't a stamper, but this is becoming really therapeutic. I had a really good time just putting on some music. Like you see, I have my headphones on, just putting on some music and stamping out my days of the week and my numbers across the top. Now, the thick and thin, I used the thin side of the stamps just to make sure that they would fit right on top of the brick. I forgot the stamps that again, the brick numbers. And so what I did with a lot of these, especially for Sunday and Thursday, because it has these big letters, is I stamped the middle letter first, and then I stamped the first and the last letter. And I just keep going across the top to fill out all of my days of the week. I love the way this looks with that thin font layered over the brick with the number. I think it looks really good. And then that black and that orange, that contrast is really pretty. And so now I'm going back to the first side. Now you'll see the Monday ends up being a little bit big, but that's because I have that big M and then a big O and then a big N. So it doesn't really fit right on top of the number. It hangs off a little bit, but I don't mind that so much. There's no way I could have changed it with just the size of those letters. Those letters are just wider letters compared to anything else. And then I actually had a little bit of a panic attack because for some reason, as I'm stamping down Wednesday, which is the last day I had left, I picked up the B instead of the D. And I think I literally would have just cried and thrown this whole layout in the garbage if I had done that, because there wouldn't have been any coming back from a mistake like that. Luckily, I caught it before I did it. And so all my stamping is done. So again, I use the Ali Edwards ink for the date, the numbers, and then my VersaFine for the dates. And I love how that came out. So now I'm just going ahead and rearranging my cards. I do the same thing I did. Also, if you didn't see my week 4 memory planning video, that video is a little bit longer than this one because I take you into my workflow in Photoshop and Lightroom to show you how I get ready for a layout like this. It's how I, find my photos, sort my photos in Lightroom, take them into Photoshop, resize them, get them ready for printing, and putting them on the page. So if you haven't seen that, I will link it in, I'll put a card in this video so you can see that. Highly recommend you watch that if you're new to memory planning and you're trying to figure out how to make this process work for you. But I'm just going ahead and I took photos of my layout after I arranged all my cards, and I'm just rearranging it back on the page the way I have in my photo. This is my favorite way to do it. I like doing it, taking the picture, and then doing the stamping. That way, if I do make a mistake with my stamping, all my cards aren't stuck down to my page and I'm not forced to reprint everything because 1, ink's expensive, and 2, photo paper is expensive, and no one has time to be wasting money with photo paper when we don't need to be. So now I go to embellishing, and this is the longest part of the video because I go back and forth on what I wanted to do. I had those wood veneer from Colorcast Designs that say January and February, and I really wanted to use both of them because this week was perfect for transitioning January into February, and I had so many Januaries left. Like, I actually still have 2 January wood veneer pieces left. On the bright side, January comes back around, so even if I don't use it up this year, I will use it next year. And then I pulled out that circle that says week 5 to signify that this is week 5. And now I'm pulling out what I have left from my list story kit. You guys, this might be the first story kit that I actually really kill. The hard part for me with these story kits is I never use the cards because I don't really do a lot of pockets, but I use up all the embellishments. Like, you'll see by the time I'm done here, my chipboard is stripped pretty thin, and I use all but one of the rubber embellishments. And I was looking for my pleather circles to use on this layout, and I don't know how they jumped out of the package that the rest of my embellishments are in, but I couldn't find my pleather circles. But I'm using my stuff up this year, which is the other reason I really enjoy this memory planning format, because I'm using up so much product because I don't feel constrained by the pockets. I think that's why this format works for me, because 1, I don't feel restricted to the pockets, so I can put a landscape photo next to a vertical card wherever I want, and I'm not limited to the design of the pockets. And 2, because I'm working on paper, I play with stamping so much more than I would have with the cards. Like, I'm stamping the days of the week, I'm stamping on photos. This just feels like creative play. So if you're looking for a way to document your week and you're struggling with project life, I highly recommend you give memory planning a try. You guys, I have tried project life 4 years in a row. When I tell you, every year, every time a new year starts, I say I'm going to stick to project life. I get 1 week in the book. I'm miserable. I never do it. I am documenting week 5 in the middle of week 6. That is how caught up I am with memory planning. And I honestly think that this format was made for people who struggle with the pockets. Now, if you like pocket style scrapbooking, then there's no reason to change what you do and what works for you. But if you're looking for a way to document your weeks, I highly recommend you look at memory planning if you're struggling with project life. So I'll tell you a few of the stories that I told in my planner this week while I'm working on my spread. Right now I'm stamping on a photo because we are doing all the things this week. So I'm stamping for the record down on that photo of Joshua and I. I stamp on the list on another photo. I stamp top 5. I'm just doing a bunch of stamping on this layout, and again, playing with products. That's what I love about this medium, is you can literally just play with products. So I go back and forth and I play with the stamps and I figure out what I want to do. So on that, I did 3 journaling cards this week because I didn't need as many cards to tell the story, because the weekend was just about us going upstate to visit Josh's mom, so I could use 1 card to tell that story. So for the card that says thoughts to organize, I wrote, it's been so long since we've had the space and time to go up north that I almost forgot how much I enjoy leaving the city behind, how good it feels to be on the road, how clear the air is upstate, how much that house in Fort Anne feels like home, how it feels to be wrapped up in Kathy's arms again, how large Oliver is, how quiet the nights are, how blue the bluebirds are, how bright the sunshine is, how brilliant the stars are. So many thoughts to organize, so many things to feel, so much joy to be found. And that was good enough for me for telling the story of going upstate in this format. I plan on doing some layouts. I took 1 million pictures while I was up north, so I plan on doing some layouts about being upstate, I was like stalking my mother-in-law with my camera. So I plan on doing some more layouts, but for this format, which is just a snapshot of what my week looks like, that one card with that story was perfect. And then on the card that says my list of, in the vertical side, I wrote my list of wins this week. And then my list of wins are being guest storyteller for Ali Edwards. What a surprise. What a privilege. Grocery shopping and meal prepping for 3 weeks in a row. That's a huge win. Pink velvet macchiatos at Dunkin' Donuts. Getting January's one little word prompts in the book before January ended. And finding the light every single day. And I just used my photos to pick my wins for the week. Again, really quick journaling because this is just a snapshot of my week. And then I'll be telling more in-depth stories in my larger albums. But I love, first of all, I only have 4 weeks. This is going to be the 5th week, and I've been flipping through my memory planning album over and over. It is such a joy to just go back and forth and see how the year is progressing already. And we're still in January, heading in, well, we're in February now, but that feels so good. So what I did on the top right corner is I took that cardstock that I cut off I think it says my life in list. I cut an inch off of either side to cut it down to 2 inches. And so I had those little strips of it. So I cut it down, put it across the top, and added that green chipboard that says, "This makes me smile." And then that star piece that I put next to it was actually part of that wood veneer that's on the left side of the page that says everyday happenings. So I took that wood veneer, punched out that circle, and then I just added it next to that green chipboard just to repeat the wood veneer. I love the texture of the wood veneer. Also, these Color Cast Designs wood veneer pieces are perfect for memory planning because they're super flat, but they just give you a little bit of texture and dimension. They're actually flatter than chipboard. So if you're using chipboard in your album, you can definitely integrate these wood veneer pieces. Jessica has a bunch of new designs down in the pipeline, and I've already told her that I'm going to need backups for my backups because I'm using them up. We are using up all of our stuff this year. We are getting them on pages and out of our hoards. So I'm just working on finishing up the layout. I stick down that My Life in List card on the left side. I'm adding my week 5 sticker. Oh, the good thing about these wood veneer pieces are they are self-adhesive, so they have sticker backing on them, so you don't have to like glue them down or anything. The downside is you sometimes have to struggle to get the sticker backing off, which is where I am right now. It took me a little bit of time to get that sticker off the week 5, and I probably should have edited that out better. Sorry, you guys. But I eventually get the backing off of it. I love that the number is cut out. Jessica said she's going to stock these for the entire year, so I'll be mixing in these wood veneer circles in with other ways of marking the week. And then the chipboard I put underneath it says, "Let's do this." Just a cool sentiment. And then I decided I want to add some sort of stamping, kind of like enamel dots. So I take that small circle stamp with the Honeyman ink and I stamp in 3 places around my layout and call this good. So I hope you guys enjoy this layout, you guys. I hope you are encouraged to give memory planning a try if you are on the fence, just to see if it is a way of documenting your week. Although if you're already doing Project Life and that works for you, then don't let me sway you away from one format to the other. But for me personally, I struggled so much with Project Life and I am not struggling anymore, you guys. This feels really, really good, and I love how this spread looks. I loved popping it into my album and seeing how it flips in with the rest of the weeks. I'm so happy that I tried this and so glad that it's working out for me. So that is all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like, comment, and subscribe if you are so inclined so you can join the Precisely Tashi fam and see all the things that are coming down the pipeline. I have a bunch of like projects and challenges and stuff to share with you, and I cannot wait to keep sharing what I have for you. So that's it, you guys. Till next time, keep it crafty and have the best day, and I will see you around. Bye!